Good morning. Hello. How is everyone? I hope we're good. I just got a delivery of tissue paper. So I'm like 1 minute late. I was like, of course it has to be right now when they come. But today we're going to do this little guy right here. I'm really excited for it. I really like this one. So you can kind of do it two ways if you would like. You can either do just a straight satin stitch like we did here, or you can do more of an angle. And I like the angle. I think it really like makes the petals look nice and round. And yeah, it's just like, I just like it. Okay. I like it. I like what I like. So you can decide to do whichever one that you fancy. First, I'm going to draw some lines on there so that you can have a look. So I'm going to use the Pilot friction, but the smallest one here. So it's only 0.5 instead of 0.7 or 10. So you're going to get a nice thin line, and hopefully you can see the kind of directions that I'm going to put on here. So in the middle, I like to go just straight across. So this is going to be the stitch direction. Okay, these don't have to be perfect because they're going to get stitched over. So this is just a guideline. So what I like to do is put one right in the middle, and I'm kind of imagining that all of my stitches are going to go down into the center of this. So they're going to be angled like this. This is where it gets tricky because it's right on the edge for me. And it does look a little bit wild, but I promise you, it helps so much. So this is kind of where we're talking about the triangle, like I was talking about before. I probably won't be able to do all of these today because they do take a bit of time, but I'll do as many as I can. And then we're also going to do a little stem stitch outline. So there we go. Oh, missed one. Okay. And I've chosen two colors. I'm going to do this darker color here for the fill, and then this one here for the outline. So let's get 3 strands of this. I think 3 should be sufficient. And you can separate them any way that you like, whichever way is your favorite. That'll be good. How are we getting on so far? Everyone's hoops look so great. I know it's only day 4, but they genuinely look so good. And then we're just gonna thread the needle, put a little knot on, and we'll get started. So yeah, we're gonna start with the inside. You can start with the outside if you want to, but I find that it's easier to do the fill first. So we're gonna do that with 3 strands of whatever color you choose. So I chose this one. It's kind of darkish color. So the first one, I'm gonna go straight across the middle. You can also make this middle a different color if you don't want to make it the same color as all of the petals. So think if you want to do like a yellow for the middle, you can make the circle yellow or something like that. I'm just going to, or you can fill it with French knots later. Up to you. So for the middle, it's just a regular satin stitch straight across. That's my tail poking up through there, so I'll just fix that later. So yeah, hopefully you guys are getting on well. We'll do I know we've done a lot of satin stitch the first 4 days, well 3 days really, but we'll do a different one tomorrow. start a different part and use a different stitch. I will say some people, they just really hate satin stitch, and it's just that they don't have practice. And unfortunately, the only way that you'll get better, good morning, Mel, is with practice. So it's kind of like a double thing, you know, where like, oh, I don't like it. But then also you need to practice to get better. So I'm just going to, I bet you Jesse's going to come knock on the door. Yeah, my dog knocks on the door when she wants to come in. So we'll see if she does that. If I just ignore her, she might walk away. Okay, so now I'm just do the 3 that come out that are connected to it. And this is where we'll start doing our angling. And I like to kind of do 1 full one and then 1 about 3/4. And normally you can get away with almost doing every other one, if you know what I mean. So 1 all the way, 1 3/4, 1 all the way. But that said, there's not really a pattern to this. Sometimes you might find that you need one that goes all the way down. And other times you might find that actually you need one that just goes a little bit of the way. This color is not very great to show you because it's quite dark. So let me know if you can see okay, because I know it's quite small. These petals are quite small. Oh, there she is. And we'll do our last full one. Okay, gosh. Come on in then. There you go. Did you guys hear her outside going? She's so spoiled is what she is. So now she's gonna go probably lay on the sofa or go upstairs and go back to bed. You're a lot quicker than me. I've only done half a petal. Take it slow because honestly, the best tips I can give for this is to make your stitches close, but not overlapping. Okay, so we're not trying to get like a bunch of them stacked on top of each other. This song's intense a little bit, isn't it? And decide if you want to do the angled way or just straight across way. So if you do the straight across way, then just make sure they're all parallel. If you do the angled way, then make sure that you're putting some angled stitches in there, and it will make it look more like a fan situation instead of just straight down. Gosh, remember, I've been doing this for a really long time, so after a while, you just kind of know what you need to do next, and you don't really have to think about it so much. And let's do this last one over here. That's connected. I know sometimes I'll do like one down the middle and then one on each side, and that kind of helps to keep it like balanced a little bit. So I'll show that too. So you've got one on each side like that. then you'll do one all the way down. And all the petals, they don't have to be the same shape either. So they can be, we're just looking for round at the top. They don't have to be exactly the same width. Like this one's a little bit longer and skinnier, and this one's a bit wider and shorter. It's fine. It's all fine. Don't worry. And then the outline will really help it as well. I'll do one more on the edge, this side and that side, and then these ones are also finished. Okay, so we've done 3. Let's do the next 3. So you can see it's like 3 together, like a propeller, and you've got another 3 that are connected to those, and then this one here is just the outside ring. So something to think about when we do our outlining, because some people don't like that when you have them all filled in. Sometimes it's a little bit hard to see the actual petals, and I find that when you do the angled way, it kind of helps to give a little bit more definition to the petals so that you can actually see where to outline them. But if you're just like, it's not for me, babe, then it's not for you. It's okay. Hi, Hannah. Yeah, you really can't see the colors the stitches as well with the dark color. I'm sorry about that. You can also do a couple different colors if you wanted to. So if you wanted to add like 2 color as the petals and a 3rd color as the outline, you can do that if you want. Like, the possibilities are truly endless for these. Okay, that's probably good for that one. I might just do these 2 more and then show you the outline. And then if there's time at the end, I'll go back and fill in the rest, just so that there's enough time for me to show you everything, you know? No, 3 strands. 3 strands for this. 6 strands is going to be too thick. You won't be able to get as many stitches in there. Just waking up. I figured you were. Or I thought maybe you might have fallen back asleep, actually. It's too early. So I think I told you guys yesterday, but I've got a dentist appointment today, so they're going to put a crown on my little tooth, and they have to fill a cavity. Oh. And I feel like I've gotten way better since the beginning of the year, but last night I just slept so bad. And then today, that's like all I can think about because it's like a later appointment. Oh, so stupid. But it'll be fine. I'm going to be fine, okay? I'm going to be all right. But yeah, so that's what I've got going on today. So I'm hoping to keep busy. Maybe I'll do a Q&A or something to stay busy through the whole day. The appointment is until 4:40. So it's the entire day. I have to wait the entire day. I don't like that. I like it when you just go and get it done, you know? You wake up and you go and you do it. That's my vibe. But so that's what I've got going on today. I didn't actually pull the colors the other day for the October pattern, so I haven't even started it yet. I'm so behind. But I got all of the threads for the advent calendar. So I spent yesterday sorting them out into days and then wrapping them, which is taking a little bit longer than I thought. So that's a little bit annoying, but yeah, no, it is late. Oh, I was at the dentist at 7:45 this morning. It was also a bummer. Oh, I would take 7:45 in the morning, like, any day. You know what I mean? Like, wake up, get it done, finished. I hope everything went okay, you know? And you didn't have to, like, get anything done. Okay, I'm going to leave it for there. Leave it at there for right now, okay? And do a little knot, and I'm going to show you how I do the stem stitch to outline. So we did the stem stitch yesterday with not yesterday, the day before, with just 4 strands here. Or maybe it was even the day before, I forget. But we're going to do just 2 strands, and we're going to make the stitches so, so small. So I just want to show you that before it gets to be like 40 minutes, and I'm like, oh, hey. The video is long. So I've picked this lighter pink, almost like a dusty rose. My Twilight reference. But you could do like a purple. The purple could look really cute. A light pink color. Any kind of thing that like goes with the color that you've chosen. So sometimes you might have to do a couple different ones, you know, and just kind of have a look. At what makes sense for you. You can also use one of the other colors that you used to accent your other flowers to kind of make it a bit more cohesive, so you're not just throwing more and more colors in. But I don't care, I'm gonna use this one. It's what I want to do, so it's what I'm gonna do. Yeah. So I've just got the 2 little strands here. Let's get those out and on my needle. Now for these stem stitches, because we're gonna go around, especially for the circle in the middle, you really want it to be the tiniest stitches. And you're gonna think, surely this is tiny enough. It's not. Tinier. Make them tinier. And you're gonna go on the hump. Sorry, I thought I was gonna burp, but I didn't. So you're gonna go right on the hump there. So let's do the circle first and get that out of the way. So again, we're going up, doing the tiniest little stitch. Leaving that loop like that and coming up in the middle of those 2. I obviously put a lot of stitches around here, because if you saw the back, you could see that it was almost completely filled with stitches. Where are you? Doesn't sound very nice, does it? Now you'll know when they're not small enough because they'll start to kind of cut straight across like this. And this is what your stitches will look like. You'll have your first one here and your second one here like this, and you'll actually see around the outside of the circle, your stitches start to go like this. So it's not that it's like a lost cause. You can always tack those stitches down with like a really small tacking stitch. But it's better if you don't. It's better to just make them a little bit smaller to begin with, and then you like kind of don't have to worry about it. Now this is where remembering the pattern of the petals is a little bit important, because when you kind of look at this, you're like, I don't know where to go next. But you can always have a look at the pattern again if you've kept it to make notes on or whatever. Or if you remembered what I said about there's one in the middle and then three and then three. Okay, so we've got our middle all done. Let's do the first actual petal here. If I can find a space. This will also tidy up any kind of like wild stitches you have on the edge here. So if you do get a little bit crazy with your stitches, especially on the outside, if they kind of all don't line up as a perfect like little arch or a little curve. If you do French knots in the middle, I'm guessing it wouldn't require an outline. Nope. You don't have to do the circle if you would like to do the French knots in the middle. But we'll do those on French knot day, so that's not something that you'll see today. If you want to do that and you already know French knots, then go ahead. But if you're like, oh, I'm going to wait and see what that looks like, don't wait, because I'm not going to show you. Okay, so we've got 2 of them outlined so far, and I feel like it makes such a difference. And you can even see it's got a little bit too big a stitch here, a little bit too big, but I feel like it makes such a big difference. Like you can really see all the individual petals. It looks so nice. Well done, Tori. Thank you. There we go. Now you can also do the outline first if you want to, but I just find that doing the fill first is a little bit better, because then you don't have to be really careful where you come up and go down. You can kind of bang it out, if you know what I mean, just like boom, 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 and then you can kind of cover up any of the mistakes that you make with your outline stitch. But if you found that doing the outline works better for you first, then by all means do that first. Like the only way is to try. So you could always do like these 7 with the fill first, and then do the outside ones with the outline first and see what you'd like the best. Oops. Didn't do a half stitch there. It didn't look very nice. Mel is laughing at me. What's going on? There's not a knot. Weird. I wonder if my actual thread has like a bump in it somewhere. Doesn't matter, we move on. I bet you it was that. Like twisted in there somewhere. Oh, there's my stomach. I already had breakfast like an hour ago, so I don't know why it's like, hey, what about me? Maybe it was like 2 hours ago now, actually. It totally looks like a plain propeller, doesn't it? Now this is where we started. So there's going to be a knot there. And this is also where we did the darker color. So there's going to be a knot there. So just keep that in mind, where your knots are. Because it can really help if you're like, oh, it's not going through for whatever reason. Okay, so now we're going to do the outside, these last three. And you don't have to go all the way down to the bottom. We're just going to go from here over. So from here, around, and down. So much better when there's not like a bunch of stitches to stitch through. I really love this color combination. Thank you, Hannah. That's so nice. I thought about doing that purple, that like purpley blue that I showed earlier, but I just don't know. I thought I'd stick to pink because it's kind of like with the vibe. When you guys are watching, do you ever like try and guess where my stitch is going to go next? I was watching an embroidery video the other day, and I was watching someone fill a space. And I was like, oh, yep, she's going to go there. Yep, there. And then I was like, oh no, she did it. She went back. Oh, okay. She mixed it up. I was like laughing to myself the entire time because I was like just being ridiculous, wasn't I? But I always do that. I'm always like, oh, I don't think I would have put an extra stitch there. I would have left it how it is. When I first see your patterns, I always try and guess which stitch you will use for which fit. Well, an easy one for me is I normally start with stitchalongs, not necessarily patterns, with something that's quite simple. So I always try and find like the most simple part and do that first, because some people will join because maybe their friend told them, or maybe they found it, just in Etsy period, or maybe they started following me and they're like, do you know what? I'm just going to give it a go. So I always have to think. Lots of people come back again and do another one after they've already done one. So like some of you have done every single stitch along, and like I still have to pinch myself all the time because I cannot believe that you still want to stitch with me. Like I just can't believe it. But some people it's their very first one. So maybe they've never stitched before, or maybe they've never done a stitch along before. So I try and do something that's quite simple, that isn't too much work. Like imagine if we started with the gloves. Okay, today we're going to do 7 different stitches. We're going to mix and match. Which we're not doing 7 different ones, I don't think, on that one. But still, can you imagine? People would be like, nope, not for me. Okay, don't think I like her. She's too advanced. I don't know if I like this lo-fi channel. It's a bit intense. There we go. It's been 30 minutes. Okay, so I've just kind of moved this around a little bit, and you can see what I mean about seeing the stitches overlap like that. Okay, that means I didn't make my stitches small enough for this curve. So what you can do for this, okay, if this happens to you, don't unpick these tiny, tiny, tiny little stitches. One, you can try and push it back and see if that will just help it. Because sometimes it's just that you've altered how the stitches go. So if I push all of my stitches in, then they will kind of fall in, all right? So you want to be pushing them out against the hump. And maybe that will fix it. If it still bothers you, because especially you know it's there, and that's something that I have to work on myself, is that if I make a really small mistake and it's really, really small and only I know it's there, I can't let go of it. I'm like, nope, I know it's there. I have to fix it. I have to do something about it. What you can do is go up where you want it to stay. So mine's just like on this line here, and wherever you put this first stitch, that's kind of where it's going to pull your stitch to stay. So if I put it way over here like this, it's going to pull it all the way over there. So you don't want it to be like that. We want it to be like right on the line there, like that. Okay, and you're going to scoop this up and go almost down, right down where you came up, almost. And you're just going to put that little tacking stitch there. And you honestly can't even see it. Okay? I mean, you don't want to pull it too hard, so it's like a dip down, you know? Keep it a little bit loose so that it still is like a gradual curve. But it's such a good way to fix a little something that you're like, oh, that doesn't look quite right. Let's just fix that. I could probably also do one here if I wanted to, or I could just kind of pull it out like that and see if that will fix it. Okay? So if you ever get into a pickle where you're like, oh gosh, this is just not, I made them too big, you can always do a couple little tacking stitches and fix that problem really easily. Okay? Okay, I might leave you there for now. It's been 30 minutes. Well, I don't really want to. Company, so that I don't just think about my appointment later, like, oh, I'm gonna get a shot. Oh my gosh. Maybe I'll just do a couple more until it's like 40 minutes. 6 more minutes. I could do a couple petals in 6 minutes, can't I? Sure I can. So yeah, after you're done, you just continue with the shape. And I like to go down, like I don't like to go up close to these outline stitches, sorry, stem stitches. But we did use them as an outline, so same. I like to kind of go down in that area because it's a little bit easier for me. And I have more control over where I put them. I think they're telling me that I need to go. Was I get a knot? You're done. These double ones are so annoying too. Which section are we doing next? I'm going away for the weekend and want to pack my Friday colors. I don't actually know. Because in my mind, well, in the original plan, I was going to section both of these out and do one in a different day. So, sorry. Yeah, I thought I would do a whole week for these flowers, but actually it's only 4 days. I always find that on these bigger petals, you need to do more angled stitches as well. So keep that in mind when you're stitching. If you're like, wow, this is getting really out of control. Like there's so much space. You might have to fill in more on the outside because it's going to be a much bigger area. Three minutes left. Can I do one more? We'll see, we'll see. Maybe I'll sneak my box of threads into the car. I would, but I always overpack threads. I always put like an extra empty hoop, like with just a bit of fabric and a hoop, with like nothing on it. And then all my threads, like for a project or whatever. And then I'll use the empty hoop to like either practice stitches or draw out something that's like inspired me, or just, like I said, practice a little bit. So if you're like, you know, you need to work on satin stitch, then do a bunch of different shapes and then fill them all in. Or if you want to do like a stitch sampler, I've got a stitch sampler with a bunch of different stitches in my Etsy shop for $2. So you can always practice or learn new stitches that way. Or head to YouTube and there's like everything that I've ever taught is on there. Well, almost. The plant sanctuary ones aren't on there, and the last one that we did isn't on there all the way because they kept failing. So when I got my new phone, I put them all on the computer. So I need to upload them from there. So particular, YouTube is. It drives me nuts. Okay, I think I did it. It's 10:39 and I've done 2 petals in 6 minutes. And got some knots out. So there we go. All right, I'm going to leave you there. Please do not try and finish all of this here today. You do not have to finish this today, okay? If you only do the fill, that's great. If you only do the outline, that's great. If you only do 2 petals, that's great. You do not have to do, sorry, got a little vibration in the phone. You don't have to do the whole thing. It is a lot of stitching, and you do have the weekend. So tomorrow I'll probably pick something that's not too big. Maybe we'll start the leaves or something. And that way you have extra time to do the rest of this, because it does take time. Embroidery is not fast. It's not a whip it up real quick and then you're done type situation, okay? So keep that in mind too when you're like, oh, I only did 4 petals. Yeah, but you did 4 petals. That's amazing. Like, that's so great. Yeah, it's a slow process. So if you only do a little bit, just do a little bit. And you always have Saturday and Sunday too, which are our catch-up days. So there's no videos at the weekend. So Saturday at 10, I'm not going to be here. I'll probably be cleaning the house or packing advent calendars. So there you go. Make sure that you are tagging me at the Brownie Fox and using the hashtag the Brownie Fox SAL. If you've got a minute, go to the hashtag and like and comment on some other people's embroideries, because let me tell you, they love it so much. It's so lovely to see. And we're a community. We all stitch together. Okay? So there you go. I hope you have a lovely Thursday. Please send me some good vibes later if you can, in about 6 hours, because I just need to get through this last one, and then I'm done for a while until I have to go get my teeth cleaned again. So enjoy, and I will speak with you tomorrow morning. All right? Bye.